Well, if it's one thing that we know is that Donald Trump is very, very smart. He is a genius, a super genius. He knows more things about anything else than any other person could know on the planet. He's got a tremendous brain. It's fantastic. So much so that the doctors even ask him, Donald Trump, how did you get so smart? I'm just messing with you guys. He's not only dumb, but he's apparently a fraud. Oh, I know. Say it ain't so, right? That's at least according to Trump's niece, Mary Trump. So now, Mary Trump, of course, she wrote a book. Everybody's writing books. And I'm really not surprised. There's quite a market for it. So now, according to Mary, who wrote in her new book, the now president allegedly had paid somebody to take the SATs for him. Because, of course, right? Because that's what you do when you're a very stable genius, very smart person. And look, if it happened, let's just say that if it happened, well, obviously, he didn't want to completely give away how much of a super genius he was, because then, he would get special treatment. He didn't want that special treatment, right? That's gotta be it. Of course, right? Or maybe he's just extremely unintelligent and he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to get into Wharton. So now, look, I know you guys. Oh, Wharton. Oh, what a wonderful school, right? What a very prestigious college. And actually, look, I'm not going after Wharton. I'm not saying that they're not a prestigious college. They absolutely are. However, back in the days that Donald Trump tried to got into Wharton, it wasn't exactly prestigious. As prestigious as it is, or as difficult, I should say, to get into Wharton. So ignore everything I said about it not being prestigious. It is, again, but it's not as difficult, or wasn't as difficult to get into Wharton. Anyway, continuing with the story. So now the Philadelphia Inquirer, right, managed to track down Wharton's admissions officer, and I'm sure you've already heard this story, right? So now Trump said that Penn was one of the hardest schools to get into in the country. Remember, he went to this school back in the 60s, right? So the admissions officer, James A. Nolan, who was a personal friend to Fred Trump, Donald Trump's father, told the Philadelphia Inquirer that the school at the time was actually taking about 40% of all applicants. Oh, 40%. And, oh, look at that. The admissions officer just happens to be a personal friend of Donald Trump Jr. I'm sorry, not Donald Trump Jr., but Donald Trump. And so Donald Trump goes to interview with Nolan. Is it any surprise that he gets in? Of course, right? So the reason I point that out is again, it's not exclusive, right? A lot of people got in. It's harder to get in now, but not but it was much easier back then. So now Nolan again had the pleasure of interviewing Donald Trump, and he described him as, quote, definitely not a super genius. I just love that quote. I do. It's great. He added, I wish I hadn't interviewed him. In retrospect, I wish I hadn't done that. Gee, wonder why that would be, right? I'm pretty sure you weren't wowed by Donald Trump's superior intellect. That's what it sounds like. All right. Anyway, awesome. So there's more. This is fun. According to attorney Frank DePrima, who was close friends with Professor William T. Kelly for 47 years. So this was a professor of marketing management at Wharton who had the unfortunate experience of having Donald Trump as a student. He said that Trump was a terrible student. DePrima says he must have told me that 100 times over the course of 30 years. Now, that professor, of course, passed away at the age of 94. But within that time, again, he told DePrima plenty of times that Donald Trump is literally the worst student he had ever had. Quote, I remember the inflection of his voice when he said it. Donald Trump was the dumbest goddamn student I ever had. He would say that Trump came to Wharton thinking that he already knew everything and that he was arrogant and he wasn't there to learn. Other students, of course, recalled Donald Trump as being extremely lazy and unmotivated. So, look, is this any a surprise? No, you guys have already heard these stories, most of you. But would it be a surprise that he would literally pay someone to take a test for him? No, not at all. Not at all. And so it's because not only is he deeply unintelligent, and of course he knows it, but look, he's also super corrupt. But here's the thing. None of that matters. None of it matters because guess what? Even if you're stupid and unmotivated and lazy, if you have daddy's money, well, that can go on to carry you through pretty much anything. No matter how much of a sad, pathetic fuck up you are, you can still become president of the United States if you have money. And that's what that is. If you don't think generational wealth is one of the most important factors of success in this country, in America, then you are falling for that myth of meritocracy and absolutely deluding yourself. We do not live in a meritocracy. And so, sure, there are a couple of people who do get wealthy through some of their hard work and inventions and just pure luck. But that's exceedingly rare today. And any system that relies on luck instead of hard work for people to become wealthy, that's not a good system. That's a bad system. In fact, what we have today is a stagnant aristocracy. Okay? And all you do to make money now is you can make money and off your name. That's already been established, and that's essentially it. So these people have a huge institutional advantage in everything, including politics. And so, of course, the fact that Donald Trump had money and could self-finance his campaign, that was something that he, of course, touted quite a bit. That's when everybody said, oh, Donald Trump. He might be credible after all. It's the same thing with liberals floating Oprah or even Mike Bloomberg, right? What's Mike Bloomberg bring to the table other than racism? Oh, right. He's got money. He's got money, of course. And now, of course, you have the newest clown, that's Kanye West. They all have something in common. They have lots and lots of money. These people's defining trait is, hey, they're rich, and so they must be doing something right. But look, just because you're rich, that doesn't mean you're smarter or harder working. Look, if the hardest working people in America suddenly became millionaires overnight, we would be looking at a lot of immigrant millionaires. And hey, look, I'm not just saying like immigrant millionaires is like, there's a lot of success stories in immigrants coming to America, having a great idea, building a business, becoming millionaires. Yes, that is through hard work. But also, you'd have, if that happened tomorrow, right? If all the people working hard, well, then you'd have a lot of people that were picking vegetables yesterday in the fields that were undocumented suddenly becoming millionaires in America because they do work incredibly hard. And so that just shows how that meritocracy is an absolute myth. And that people, even if they're stupid, even if they're corrupt, as long as they have money, they're going to continue to float to the top because that's unfortunately what makes the difference. Money, name recognition, celebrity. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a patreon.com/TYTNation set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com patreon.com/TYT Nation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.